Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another Daily News with your hockey coach guru, Coach Frenchy. Today, episode number 166. What do you have on the menu, Coach? First of all, I'm going to give you the bilan of the month of October for the Montreal Canadiens, the 3-star of the month. Then, DADONOV. Maybe it's over with the Montreal Canadiens. And at the end, it's just a short preview of the game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Minnesota Wild tonight. Let's dive in and talking about the first subject of the day. The first subject of the day, guys, is the 3-star of the month. The first one is Martin St. Louis. Yes, why, coach? Because he's the captain of the ship, and since the beginning of the season, everybody thought he's going to be really sink under the water, but Martin St. Louis so far delivered an amazing, great performance for the Montreal Canadiens behind the bench. Look, we expect not much about the Montreal Canadiens for the first 10 games, and they are really great with a record of 5-4-0, and we have to give credit for Martin St. Louis. And for me, it's really the one make a big fan. How? Because the way he communicates with his players, what he tried to bring a new culture around the team, he's how he educates the players, the way he teach them, and then finally how he motivate their players because the way they communicate, the way they teach, and the way to make them believe they can become a better hockey player. What happening? They're all in. They really buy in the new culture of Martin St. Louis. And for me, this is the biggest difference since the beginning of the season is the way Martin St. Louis coached that team. And I have to give him an A+ for the first star of the month. My second star is Cole Caulfield. Unbelievable start of the season with Cole Caulfield. Honestly, he did exactly what he finished the season 2021-2022 under Martin St. Louis. In 9 games, he has 7 goals, 3 assists, 10 points. He has a shot percentage of 22.6. He's the top 20 in NHL. Look, his average is about 13% he did last season. So expect him to drop a little bit. Whatsoever he dropped, if he can stay around 16, 17, the best scorer in NHL, guys, when they have that kind of percentage, they score about 40 goals in NHL. So it'll be really interesting how Caulfield is going to do for the month of the November. But for me, behind Martin St. Louis, I have to go with Cole Caulfield. My third star of the month, guys, I maybe surprise some of you because maybe you expect another players. But for me, I have to go with David Savard. What? Yes, I have to go with David Savard, guys, because the way he plays since the beginning of the season is unbelievable for the Montreal Canadiens. His block shot is 40. He's second in NHL. His TOI is 22-28 per game. He never played that kind of minute per game since the season 2015 and 2016. He is right now on the first pairing defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens beside Caden Coley. And for me, it's not only his play on the ice, but his off ice. Look, he become a role model for all the rookies, for Coley, Harris, Jack-I, and Kovacevic. Then how he composure himself with his calm on the different circumstance or adversity or challenge. David Savard since the beginning of the season, guys, is really the one I'm more impressed. He played over my expectation. I was not expecting him, honestly, to play that kind of level right now with Montreal. And finally, style of leader. His leadership on the locker room and on the ice, for me, is really I have to give him credit. I would like to hear from you guys. Who are your 3-star, or mention maybe another star? Interesting to hear from you. And let's move on now, guys, for the next subject of the day. My next subject of the day, guys, is a little bit like a hot potato for Martin St. Louis, because right now he's tired to hear about the reporter asking him about what's going on with DADONOV. For me, DADONOV is done. What? Yes. He requested yesterday or today before to meet the general manager, Ken Hughes. They have a conversation. He wants to figure out what is his role with the Montreal Canadiens. And I really believe, guys, he had requests to be traded very soon. And Montreal Canadiens have 2 options. 2 things he can do with him. He could betray him the next couple of days, or possibility they have an agreement with DADONOV, and he decide to leave the NHL and return to play in KHL. I would not be surprised. It could happen, and then they have an agreement to split or separate both, and that will complete his contract with the NHL. Really interesting to see this situation. We know that enough. He was healthy scratch the last game. He has 0 goals, 0 point, and 9 games. He did not play well. Right now, he does not play a lot of minutes with Montreal Canadiens. More and more is TOI decreasing, and then he played barely on the power play I mentioned, and he's became like a PK player. For me, is unhappy with the Montreal Canadiens. And with the Montreal Canadiens, have an extra forward, and they are 15 forward since Joel Armia joined the team. Now, they have a between Pezzetta, Drouin, Pitlick, and DADONOV. They have to put people out of the roster, and I think it's not a great situation for the coach Martin St. Louis. For me, I would not be surprised the next couple of days they will try to trade DADONOV somewhere and don't get too much in return. And I think that will satisfy everybody. First, Martin St. Louis. Secondly, DADONOV. I'm sure he's unhappy right now. So it would be really interesting what could happen about DADONOV. But for me, this is over with the Montreal Canadiens. I don't see him to be a part of the Montreal for the rest of the season. Let's move on now, guys, for the next subject of the day. So my next subject of the day is the bilan of the Montreal Canadiens in October as a team. First of all, they are 5-4-0, 10 points. Really better what my expectation was overall for the Montreal Canadiens. They are 5th in the division, and they are 8-9 in the Eastern Conference. Montreal Canadiens, guys, in 2021-2022 under Dominique Champ, they start the season with a record of 2-7-0 after 9 games. They are already at differential a -22 after 9 games. Just give you an idea. They didn't start right away last season like they did this season. And then I want to mention to you guys, Caulfield is key. In October, they have 10 points in 9 games. Great performance for both of them. We know the duo are performing unbelievably since the beginning of the season. But you have other things happening. First of all, the goaltending. Their GSAE is plus 7.4. What the heck is this, coach? It's goal save above expectations. They make more save at what they are supposed to expect goal. They are number 4 as a team. And this is really one reason what Montreal hanging there. They gave 27 goals again, and they scored 27 goals for. So they are differential 0. So this something at some point, if the goaltending continues to perform like that, they couldn't surprise, but I don't think so that it will happen a long term. Finally, one thing we need to add is the rookies, the development, the progression they did from the beginning of the season, and the way they play. And all 3, Jagai with Harris and with Cooley, is unbelievable. And then we have to mention Gerbidak. They have a good month in October, and the new players, Kovacevic, whatever, is 25 years old, play only a couple of games in NHL before he joined the Montreal Canadiens. So the rookies have a great performance overall, and that's another reason Montreal did very well in October. Finally, I want to say to you as an Habs fan, and I want to hear from you guys, I believe it's fun to watch because they are competitive every single game. They stay in the game until the end, and I think I like the way they play. It's excitement, fun. The team effort is always there. It's not only specific player. What about Gallagher? He's bounced back this season after he have a really miserable year with the Montreal Canadiens. Like I said, David Savard is another one bounced back as a hockey player for the Montreal. So it's fun to watch. And let's finishing this video with the preview game between the Minnesota and the Montreal Canadiens. So the preview game between Montreal and the Minnesota Wild, guys, the way I do this video is really early in the morning, so I don't have all the update like the roster for the Montreal Canadiens, what they look like, what is in and out. Obviously, I don't have, and I apologize. I want to produce the video before 12 o'clock Eastern time, so to give you a little bit more time to watching the app daily news. But what I know is this part. First of all, Montreal lost, but they scored 3-1 at the Bell Center against the Minnesota Wild last week. It was an empty net to conclude this game, but they scored 3-1. Eriksson, AK, have a great game against the Montreal Canadiens. We expect, for me, Marc-André Fleury to be the goaltender. He was the 3rd star of the week last week with a record of 3-0-0 with a goal against average of 1.95. Great performance of Fleury. The Minnesota Star, after they start the season with 0-3-1, come back now with a record of 4-4-1. So let's see all the stats they have with both of them. For Montreal, it's 5-4-0. They are 28 on the scoring chance percentage in NHL. They are 23rd goal per game. They are 13 goal against. Their power play 27, a little bit better with the 2 goals they did last game. They are PK 10. They dropped a little bit, honestly, but it's still in the top in NHL. Minnesota now, like I mentioned to you, they're pretty better now for the last couple of games. They are 4-4-1. 19 for the scoring chance percentage. They are 11 per game, goal per game. They are 28. They still struggle on the defensive goal again. 5th in the power play. This is one of the best in the NHL. 23rd on PK. And of course, they beat the Montreal Canadiens 3-1 last game. Then I want to mention a little bit more stat. The Montreal Canadiens, this is another stat I get every single day. Montreal are 13 in the NHL. They are 6th in division rank, but honestly, they are tied for the 5th. The goals for, they are 10 in NHL. Goal again, 15. The goal share, they are 11. The power play percentage are 27. We know they are only 11.1. They're finishing the 12 in NHL, not a bad. The goal, X goal for, they are 22nd. X goal again, 16. X goal share, 21. Their PK percentage is 9 with 81.6. Then the goaltending, because their goal save expectation, above expectation, they are number 4. Finally, for the Minnesota Wild, their stat, they are 20 in NHL, 5th in the Central Division. They are 25 for goal 4. Goal again at the bottom, a goal share at the bottom. The power play, they are 4 in NHL, finishing 16. X goal for 19. X goal again 7. X goal share 14. And the PK percentage is 22nd, and the goalie in the NHL overall, they are 30 in NHL. So just give you an idea, guys, how they perform as a team. And again, I love to sharing those kind of stats. I would like to hear from you what you think when I bring you some kind of fun statistic for you. And then the plan of the game, guys, for the Montreal Canadiens. And what I'm thinking is this part, if Montreal have a better chance to win tonight. First of all, out of the penalty box, we know the Minnesota Wild have a great power play with 28.1%. Then quicker decision and defensive zone. Why you said that, Coach? Because they are a team of really physical. They are big. And they are forechecking a lot. We know they're missing Marcus Foligno and GRENIER. But at some point, last week, Montreal struggled with the kind of forechecking from the wall. So it'll be really interesting how they're going to modification compared or adjustment compared last week. For me, it's really a better decision, quicker, faster. And I think the center have to go lower to give that quick pass to go back on the transition on breakout. The other thing, they have really important cap control and neutral zone. They have a lot of fast players. They like to carry on the puck. And if you want to try to stop their speed and not give them more speed with more space, is to get right away the cap control and the neutral zone. Try to check them really early, and they don't have that kind of speed when they come in the entering zone. Then I will say to you, the Wild cycling a lot on the defensive zone for the Montreal Canadiens, so they like cycling a lot from the board. Montreal, I think they play a lot one-to-one. I think they should be a little bit more caution and to play more. Don't chase them. Collapse more in front of the net. Play a box +1 or a 2-1-2 if you want to, but that's the way I will play again them when they use the cycling. Finally, I want to mention this to you guys, is for me, the Wild love to crash to the net. They bring always a forward in front of the net. They want to screen, they want to play the rebound, and they want to get that pass in front of the net, and everything could happen, tip the puck. For me, most of the thing, Montreal struggle a lot on the high danger goal again, or scoring chance again. So Montreal need to get better on the puck retrieval and win the battle in front of the net, put their stick under the opponent players, and try to do the best at the goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens. If they can stop the first shot and don't give any rebound, that will helping the Montreal have a better chance to win against the Minnesota Wild tonight. Guys, this complete this episode. I want to invite you. Don't forget, we do the play-by-play at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Join us, the family, the Hockey National Show. I think the people enjoy to talk about the game when I do the description of the game. Here we go, guys. This completes another episode of the App Daily News with the hockey coach, your coach friendship. But before we leave, we want to invite you. Don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to Hockey Nation Show, sharing this video, and please leave me a comment. Tell me what do you think about episode 166. Until the next time, my friend, we want to remind you, of course, you have greatness inside of you, and have an amazing, great, blessing day, everybody.